How are you doing? You're doing all right. Yeah, I like to have a little bit of lightheartedness. I like response. That's what I tell the kids all the time. I love response. Um, Katie knows me as Coach Kai. Full name, Khiarica Rasheed. Not many people call me that, but you can if you would like. I love my whole name. Most people call me Kai. I am originally from Portland, Oregon. How did I get here? How did I get here? My friend I played in college with, I went to Northern Arizona University, played basketball. Her name is Calais Paplo. She went to, what is that school? Lou High, Lutheran. You may not like them. I don't know. Yeah, no, okay, we don't like them. Okay. I don't know nothing about that. But we were teammates. She started a whole program out here and coaching and stuff. And I also played basketball professionally overseas. I had a break. I came out here for one summer, and then I was like, hey, it's kind of chill vibes out here. Might as well come again. And I've been out here for one summer, so now like a full year now. I like to say I do a lot of things. Y'all know Tiana Taylor or no? She do everything. So do I. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel. I do everything. I coach. I play basketball, professional athlete. I'm a writer. I'm a poet. I'm a podcaster. I just do whatever, man. And I feel like, I don't know, that's me. I have 3 siblings. They're triplets. I'm the oldest of 4. And I've lived in Arizona. I've lived in Ireland. I've lived in Mexico. And I hope to be traveling some more here soon. So that is my intro. Then we can go to the next slide. So I always got a little activity. When I'm with the kids, I do an activity. So if you had to describe your self-identity and race, those are connected right now. That's our theme, right? That's our theme we just did. In 3 words, or I'll say / themes, right? Because I got 3 of them. What would they be? So I'm going to have you write that down. Think about it. I'll give you 2 minutes. I'm going to leave you alone. Now, as I was doing this, right, I came up with words that I feel like describe my experience, and then obviously we're going to have activity afterwards to wrap it all together. But what I chose as my themes, I think hair is first. I chose emotion, and then this theme is a title, to be or to not to be. That is the question. Do we know that Shakespeare? We know Shakespeare? Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. I'm like, guys, come on. All right, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so yeah, you can put those up. So here's some pictures of me and all my little hair. This is me as a child. I had a relaxer. Has anybody else had a relaxer before? Okay. Has anybody had a perm before? They made it curly. Nice. I had braids. I did those myself. Fun fact. This is me overseas. That's me with my huge fro. That's me with my curly hair in like a photo op. That's me graduating. I heard, what's his name, Dean?
Dean Davis.
Dean Davis. He said he got a couple masters. I got one too, so I just wanted to put that up there. I did my photo shoot with my natural hair. There's me with twists as well. I just want to talk about hair. I think hair is a very important thing to the African American community, Black community, and it's just a thing, right? So when I was a child, boom, this is really a chopped photo of me, but that's okay. It's for a purpose. And I had my first relaxer probably, I like to say 8 years old, but like I think it was younger. I think it was younger than that. And then I got it and it broke my whole face out. So I had like these splotches of dark light, everything. And then I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. Like, oh my. And I was like freaking out because I'm like young. And this is the first time this happened to me. But I had relaxers all the way up into my high school point. And so I was used to not ever seeing my natural hair, never seeing my curls, not knowing what to do with it. But society at that time said straight hair was in, and straight hair is what we needed to be and what we need to have and to tame it and to make things easier. So that's what I had. That's what my mom gave me. And like the weird stage of like when my hair is growing and it's straight and then my roots are extremely kinky or curly was really not a good time for me. Not a good time, but it happened all the time. So a lot of experiences that I had, like if my hair wasn't straight or if it wasn't in a slick bun, like I have a slick bun with edges done today, but majority of my days, I feel like Katie sees me a lot. I don't look like that. I literally just have my fro all the time. But that did not happen until probably after college, where I finally felt comfortable just rocking my fro. I went to a predominantly black middle charter school, so it was different vibes. And then I went to a predominantly white public school in high school and college. And then I traveled to Ireland, and that's white, clearly. And they're not used to seeing a lot of different things. So when I was younger, my hair was quote unquote unkept. I would get told, like, oh, girl, why your hair ain't done? And why you look like that? You need to go get your hair done, because being in my natural state meant that my hair wasn't done. And you would never catch me looking like that, or that, ever when I was younger. Quick story, when I was in Ireland, I had these similar to this, but I had like some faux locks all the way past my butt. And I was playing basketball. And my coach, white man from Ireland, it wasn't a good time. And he's like, oh my God, wow, like, look at all that hair. Isn't it heavy? And I said, no. And then he's like, but I think it's weighing you down. You need to cut it off so you can move faster. I said, well, why are you worried about me? And he's like, well, because it's just, I feel like it's distracting. I said, I feel like the only distraction it is like you're distracted. I don't know why. So then he kept saying stuff about my hair, like, when are you going to take it out? When are you going to take it out? One day, he reaches and grabs. And I turned around, whipped around. I threw the ball at him. This is my coach, mind you. My coach in Ireland threw the ball at him and was like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, he's like, oh, Kai. And I'm like, no, this is not what we do here. So I'm very sensitive about my hair as my identity. Like, I don't really let anybody do my hair other than me or my sister. I just recently let somebody else color my hair, but like, don't touch my hair. What Solange said, like, all of that, like, don't do any of that. And it just comes with different experience every time. So like, the straight hair was a thing, and that's how we were meant to be kept instead of unkept when I was younger. My natural hair, there's a lot of like, oh, it's good. I mean, it looks pretty. It's like, wow, oh my God, like, can I touch it? No, you can't, because when it's really in its like biggest form, it's like, it's out there, it gives. But I don't want you to touch it. Or even when I have twists, and that's something where maybe my edges aren't done and they're just in its natural curls, and I don't feel comfortable going outside in that state, because it's like, oh, it doesn't look good. But in reality, like, it does. It looks fine. It looks fine because I said it looks fine, but the perceptions of society says it doesn't look fine, and the reactions I get says it doesn't look fine. So then that made me feel away. So that's like my first thing. Then second one's emotions. So I grew up, first I was born in Norfolk, Virginia. And then my mom was like, fuck that, let me move all the way to Portland, Oregon, where it's just white. And it is what it is. So I grew up there, but I was born in Virginia. And let's see. My household was very chaotic. I had a single parent household. My parents were separated. They weren't fully divorced. And it was just chaotic. There was a lot of abuse and all that stuff going on. And that taught me how to emote. So I am a person now today. Even as a young kid, I do not like yelling. Unless it's in a good way, because I do yell. Coaching. I'm a motivational yeller. I'm not as much a mean, mad yeller. But when it comes to yelling and confrontation, not me. I'm not your girl. I talk in a low tone majority of the time when I'm in conflict, when I'm trying to have conflict resolution. It's low tone. I'm like, hey, I'm very tone sensitive, okay? Because in my household, there was a lot of yelling. There was like, a lot of arguments and chaos, where I felt like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. So much to the point when I was younger, I used to cry on sight. If anybody raised their voice one bit, I start crying. Now I'm not so much, but I would cry all the time. So as I went on through life in high school and especially college, I will give you that story. It was like I was trying to run away from the angry black woman trope that they love to give us Black women, for just showing emotions or frustrations. So because of that, I bottle everything up. I don't show anything unless you are very close to me. And a lot of people don't know when I'm having a bad day, when I'm, you're always going to know when I'm having a good day. Like, I'll use the kids, for example, time and time again. Every time I come in, there's one way you're going to get from me. Like, I'm very energetic. I'm hype. I'm emotional in that manner. But if I'm having a bad day, you're not going to know it because of those things. I got told by my mom, by my teachers, by mentors, like, you don't let them see you sweat. Don't let them see you cry or whatever. And, you just got to be twice, 4 times as good as everybody else. So I took that on, and every day that I presented myself in class, in school, in my sport, that's how it was. So you never see me, like, even when I'm playing basketball, I'm not very expressive. Like, I'll give you a bucket and then just get back on defense. That's really what it is. I'll get hyped for my teammates, but not really much else. I'm not going to get mad, but I will use college as an example. So anytime I did emote, so it's like a flex and an and one and da da da, and just a little bit here and there, you got in trouble for it. You get in trouble for it. Not everybody gets in trouble for it, but because I look the way I do as a Black woman, darker skinned, not extremely dark, but in the places that I was at, I was the darkest, which is like strange. So, get in trouble for it. Oh, you got to calm down. You got to da da da. And I'm like, well, I'm not even doing that. And I be chilling all the time. Like, I'm chilling all the time. And if y'all piss me off, especially on the court, and I want to say, and one, why can't I do that? Because she could do it over there, and she could do it, but I can't do it. So that's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. In college, I had it ranged. So when I first started, it was like we had more Black girls, more diversity. I feel like the minority on the team was white women. And then as we progressed, it started to be where I was the darkest person on my team again. And I was like, well, what's going on? So I was in college, 2020, the height of everything, the beginnings of, like Black Lives Matter and all that stuff going on. So I went through probably like a real deep depression when I was in college, only because I did not know how to grapple with did we talk about like covert versus overt racism yet? Or no? Okay, I didn't know how to deal with the covert racism. So overt is where it's like in your face. It's like somebody come up to you and straight like that say something racist, derogatory. They're not messing with you. Versus the covert things or microaggressions or the little things like, where he's always asking me about my hair. That's like a little bit like, why you don't ask the white girl over there about her hair either. So those things where it was just like heavy. It was heavy for me, and I didn't have an outlet to be able to talk to anybody about what was going on. So once again, like I said, emotional, I went inside and I just held it and I produced, because that's what I do. I hold it in and I go out and you look like nothing happened. And I was like, all right, I gotta figure out how to do something about this. So I took my whole team, Division I basketball team, and we did a race workshop ran by me, including my coach. She's a gay white woman, and she was like for it. She was all for it until I wasn't, what is it called? Like doing everything she wanted me to do for her. I'm not combative, but I do stand up for what I believe in. And I wouldn't say I'm confrontational, but if it get like that, it can get like that. So there was times where I believe that my coach wanted me to, just fall in line and be like, oh no, everything's okay. And I was like, well, no, actually, I don't like that. I don't think that's right. And she didn't like that. So does anybody know D. Ray McKesson? No? Okay, you should look him up when you're done. He has this book, and he also tweets out, like, I love my blackness and yours, based off this book. And I did a whole, I can't remember the name of the book right now, but I did this whole thing, lessons, because everybody was like, we get on this phone call, and it's like, oh, like George Floyd just had passed or got murdered. And everybody's like, well, what can we do? Like, da, da, da. And it was like white tears to me. So I got frustrated, and I've never did this before. And I was on the screen, because we were on screen. We're on Zoom a lot. And I was like, well, I don't know why y'all are crying. And I started like cussing them out. And then I was like, y'all want to talk about what can we do? What can we do? And you're over here crying. Everybody's posting black boxes and stuff. But y'all need to get in the field. Y'all need to get in the field. You need to do your research. You need to do this, dot, 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 dot. And then I left the Zoom. And then my coach was like, Kai, you can't do this. Because I had did it like 2 to 3 times. Because I'm like, you guys are pissing me off. And like, I don't have no outlet to really get it out. And so I did that, and she's like, you can't keep doing this. And I'm like, well, what am I doing? Right? Like, what am I actually doing? Other than expressing myself and telling y'all like it is. I'm not falling in line. So because of that, I was reprimanded, not on the court because I made her look good on the court, but behind closed doors. So she just didn't like me. She didn't like anything I did. She took the whole lesson plan and everything that I did. She never gave me credit for it, never posted it. I had my team like posted like Black Lives Matter stuff before game days, like all the stuff, I don't know, all the stuff I could think of. They were doing it, never gave me credit. And then one day something happened. She took it. She's like, I'm putting it back, basically put it back in my face and said, you're acting like you're trying to be like this great person and you're taking us through this whole workshop and look how you're acting. And I was like, whoa, hold on there. I don't know what you mean by that. So those are the experiences I had about showing my emotion. Like, after all the turmoil and experience that I had of not showing emotion and showing up every day with my best effort, that the 1 or the 5 times out of my whole 5 years at college, I showed emotion and I got reprimanded for it every single time. So that has impacted my self-expression, where it's like I go in and I'm like, so what side of me am I going to show today? I don't know. I have no idea. But majority of the time it's going to be chill vibes. Majority of the time you're not going to know if I'm sweating, if I'm upset, if I'm about to cry. You're not going to see it. Versus when I was a child, I used to cry a lot. And they said, hey, you can't be doing all that crying. Even to me. Usually we talk about that with boys, and especially black boys, like you can't cry. But it's like, well, they see you crying, you look weak. So I really internalized that as well. And then last one. So we got to be or to not to be. And this is about just code switching the way I decide to present myself in a class. So even coming in here today, right? I feel like I'm presenting myself like I would present myself any other time, right? But I could choose to come in and be a certain manner and it just wouldn't be real, right? Code switching in all facets. I went to, like I said, predominantly white high school, predominantly white college, and every day it's like, what type of person am I going to show up as today? Am I going to show up as the real me, the one that hangs out with all my black folk and we talk and we chop it up and da da da? Or am I going to show up as, oh yeah, like, okay, and talk how I talk to white people? Which one am I going to do? And for so long I was doing that, teetering back and forth, because if I show up as me one way, it's a lot of times similar to emotions, right? It's like, oh, you're upset, or what's wrong with you, or da da da. Why your face looking like that? Are you okay? And it's like, no, I'm just chilling. I'm just here. And so a lot of people don't really get the emotive side of me, the outgoing side of me that's caused me to be very introverted. I would say I'm introverted at the core, but I extend that going into crowds, into classes, into life. I live in a situation now where it's like, even when I step out my room, I have to figure out what side of me am I going to show today. Because I live with more white people, and it's like, okay, what am I going to deal with today? Are we going to talk about my hair today? Are we going to talk about how black people act this way? What's going on? Or you have to choose those battles. I feel like some of us in here can relate to where it's like, all right, they said this. Am I ready to, get into it today? Or am I just like, all right, man, like that is what it is. I don't got the energy to get in the field every day. And you have to choose, like, how am I going to get in the field? And overseas, like when I first went overseas, because of my experience in college really shutting me down, I was like, okay, you have a new slate. Don't nobody know you. Just go out there and be. So my first year in Ireland, I went out there and I was myself. I was laughing. I was having fun. I was doing this, doing that. And they got to see a realer version of me. My second year in Ireland, not good at all. I went to work. I went home. I went to work. I went home. Guys, let's go out. Da, da, da. No, guys, I'm here to get the check. I'm here to play basketball, and I'm here to get out of here. And it's hard. It's really hard when you grow up in white spaces constantly and you are trying to figure out how to be all the time. Every day you wake up, it's like, what version of me am I going to decide to be today? And props to you if you are a person already who knows how to just be yourself already, right? Because I'm still learning how to just be myself, whatever room that I step in. So yeah, I think are we at the last slide? So you could do the third one. So we're going to do the race identity thing again, because I gave you three themes. I gave you hair, I gave you emotions, I gave you kind of code switching to be or not to be, right? But if I actually had to give you my identity, it wouldn't be attributed, as I thought about it, so much to the color of my skin or the ethnicity or those things. It would be attributed to different things. So there were certain words I can't remember. What word did you say? Whimsical, right? I like those words because that don't matter that you look like you do, right? But it can attribute to whoever, right? So I say multifaceted. At the beginning of this, I said I do everything. I got a podcast, got a website, I coach, I play, I speak, all those things, right? So whatever you need me to do, I can do it. And I like doing a lot of things. When I was younger, it's like a lot of times it feels like you need to find one path. And I struggle with that because I'm a person who does a lot of different things well. A lot of different things well. Does anybody know who Amanda Seales is? No, we don't. Oh, yeah. Nice. Amanda Seales is a person who I also consider very multifaceted. She has a problem with one field. She does a bunch of other stuff. I'll say Keke Palmer. I'll say Issa Rae. I love Tabitha Brown. Those are people that I like identify with, right? So that's my first word. I'll say determined and disciplined, right? Because you gotta tell me again. What is his name? Dean Davis. Dean Davis. Dean Davis said, like you step in any room and you belong in that room. And sometimes people write you off and say, oh, it's just because they're lazy, right? But that can be attributed to anybody. But I'm determined. And is that an attribute that you would put with me and with the way I look? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But as I went through this process and I chose different words, I say determined because I don't look like what I've been through or what I came from. You would never know all the things that have happened in my life because pedal to the metal, grind it out. That's how I'm going to be. And then I'm going to say discipline. I wake up every day, 5 a.m. I go to the gym. I do my work before my work. And then I go coach the kids. I do all my other things that I said I do before I go coach the kids and I get in the field with them. So there's just a certain way that I live my life. And I would like for you to try to think of 3 new words that attribute to you and who you are with your self-identity and your race. Go. Oh, preguntas.
Again, what part of your life?
The happiest.
Other than Eli.
I'd say whatever I'm doing that's fulfilling my purpose. And I am a very intentional individual, like even with jobs. And I know it's a privilege to even say that because sometimes you just got to get it how you live. You need to get whatever job you need to get. And I've been in that position. But like whatever I'm doing, there's a reason behind it. And it needs to align with me and who I am. Right. So coming here is something that I love to do. I love to speak to people. I've done it since high school, ran pep rallies, all that good stuff. It's my jam. So anything that aligns with my purpose, like poetry, drawing, speaking, playing basketball, teaching the younger generation the things that maybe I missed out on. I love doing any of those things.
Can you share on like the once a month that you do with the kids? Like
Yeah.
reports? Will you talk about that a little bit? How that came about?
I just okay. So basically, when I was in college, mental health was like a up and coming thing, but like they didn't really care. It's whatever, you know what I'm saying? You get on the court, you do what you need to do, and if you're not doing what you need to do, they don't care. NCAA is a multi-billion-dollar business, so they don't really care about you as a person. They just care about what the athlete is producing. So there were certain times where I had went in and out of like therapy as a child, but as a child I was told don't go in there and tell them people nothing. So I wasn't telling nobody nothing. Then in college, I had a sports psychologist for a certain period of time, but then my sports psychologist and my coach was like, I don't know if they was in cahoots or something, but I said, I'm out of there. So I'm not talking no more. You know what I'm saying? And my coach never did anything as a mentor to help us be better individuals as people, because we all know if you play a sport, at some point in time, it's going to stop. So that came about because we work with real young kids. Like our youngest group is fourth grade, and we're now up to eighth grade. Eli's in sixth grade. And this is stuff that I guarantee isn't happening consistently. So that's where it came from for me. And I really hone in on the mental piece as an athlete, because everybody got mental battles. We all got a mental. We all got the ups and downs. We all are constantly thinking about the good, the bad, and in between. And also just wanted them to be educated on race, on identity, because we do stuff about race too. Isn't it Hispanic Heritage Month as well? So They
just learned about that in advisory.
Okay, because we finna do something about that. So, and it's like, if we're honest, two black women run a program to majority white boys. So if that's not saying something, that's saying it all. You really don't gotta say much. Also in Parker, Colorado. You know what I'm saying? So like being educated about other people's identities and being inclusive is something that's a core value of mine. So yeah.
Other questions you guys have?
See, the teaching part, I don't know. Because when I was younger, everybody be like, oh, you're going to be a teacher. So I thought teacher in this space only. I didn't think a teacher as a coach. I even got told I would be a coach as well. And I was like, I don't know. It's real politicky and stuff. It's like, I don't want to do that. I remember we had a card when I was in elementary, and it was like, write what you want to be when you grow up. And my whole card was filled front and back because I wanted to be everything. I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a singer, a dancer, like anything you can think of, I had it on there. So I would say in some variation, I do a lot of things that I did want to do when I was younger. Basketball, I don't know if I was an athlete just yet. I was a late bloomer when it came to sports. But as far as like my creative side, my artistic ability, I've always had that since I was a child.
What do you feel like your biggest accomplishment is, whether it's your identity or like a physical?
Biggest accomplishment. I'm not a person where I say I give myself a lot of credit, so that forces me to say something about accolades and stuff. I mean, I've gotten a lot of like awards and stuff, like told I was smart, but it really just, I don't know, getting it out the mud. There's a certain life that I always dreamed about when I was a child, that I didn't have, and I was always yearning for it. And I was like God, please help me get out of this situation, like get me into another situation. So I'm proud of only being 26 and being where I'm at right now. I don't know if that's very vague, simplified, but it's like I had to get out the mud for real. And a lot of people I feel like can, reason with that. And to be where I'm at only 26, I'm like, I got a roof over my head. I got a car. I was worried. There was days I was worried because when I was younger, there was things like that I didn't have. So, yeah.
Other questions?
I think I got to go back to my purpose. There are days I think I got discipline up there where it's like you talk about being motivated. And a lot of days, more days than not, you're probably not motivated to do the things you know you're supposed to do. But I have the discipline because I know that in order to get where I want to be, I've got to do certain things. And in order to fulfill my purpose and to reach that point, I've got to be disciplined. I've got to be motivated. Or I'm not got to be motivated, but like I just don't have the motivation a lot of times. So if I'm completely candid, right now I'm in a stage where it's like, hey, am I going overseas again or am I not? And I'm not motivated to go to the gym at 5 a.m. I'm not motivated to do that because I'm like, I'm in this state of, well, what's going on? But there's certain disciplines I have. I have the kids that I go to every day and I teach them about mental and how to get through their days. So I just like to be an example. I want to be a living prophecy, a living testimony for people who are chasing their purpose and trying to fulfill their purpose, that you can do it. Oh.
You know what you're like? Can you say what your purpose is, or is it something that just intuitively know what it's like?
I would say if I had to simplify it, it would be to show people who have come from places, situations, environments that I've come from. So I simplify, I say getting it out the mud to showing you the life that you could have. Now, granted, I ain't rich, I ain't glamorous. You know what I'm saying? I'm not all that. But I wake up every day with joy. I wake up every day, excited to take on the day. So if I had to say that, it's just being, the purpose is to show people like me that you could do it, like the younger generation, giving back to them the things that I didn't have or wasn't able to access. Yeah. Force, you said? Being an athlete, that forces you first. So when you are an athlete, do I got athletes in here? Do I have some athletes? Yeah. So being an athlete, they force you, at this time you got to be here. At this time we got film. At this time we got practice. And so they force that discipline in that schedule. Because if you don't show up, you got to run, you got all these consequences. Everybody, I'm not trying to deal with that. So, and then when you go to the next level, when you get to college, it's like even more. You got the school part, and then you got film, and then you got an individual workout, then you got a small group workout, then you got a team workout, then after that you got to talk again, and then it's another meeting, then you got to go meet the donors. It's like that forced me to be disciplined. And I think because of my childhood being chaotic and no structure, that I've always wanted structure. So it forced me to get that structure. So how I grew up forced me to get there, but now it's just ingrained in me. It's like muscle memory now. It's like, okay, so some days I don't want to get up, but hey, the alarm goes off and I get up and it's just like I'm a robot and I go and do it. And I get to a certain point sometimes where I'm like, I didn't want to do this, hey, but I feel great. It's over now. Next thing.
What's your master's degree in?
Master's of Education, Human Relations. I like to keep it real vague because I don't got one thing. Yeah, so it's just like my undergrad was communication studies, but I did minor in social work and Spanish. So I know a little bit of Espanol. And I just keep it vague because I'm like, I don't have anything specific. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we have enough time. If you guys can grab phones, we have a QR code up here. And I will get Mr. Taylor. Thank you so much for being willing to let us keep going.
Thank you.
Go ahead and grab your phones. You guys can scan the QR code. Any other pitch on like what would you?